The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Women's Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericawomen.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall-Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm excited to be in February with you. Happy Chinese New Year to those of you who celebrated that. And I'm excited about today and the subjects, I should say plural, that we're going to be talking about. I don't know if y'all noticed the title, but it was longer than my usual titles for the show. And that echoes my excitement for what we're going to be talking about today. It's love your body, love you, and get your glow on and shine. Because as we're talking about moving forward, we're in February. We've already gone through January. We're starting this year. How are we going to keep that momentum going forward? And a part that I believe is overlooked sometimes is you. You are a critical part to that equation. So how are you supporting you? Your body, mind, soul, spirit, and energy so that you can really fully be in your life, vibrant, thriving, excited about what each day is bringing, feeling great. How are you building that in your life? I think sometimes we can go along day after day. It gets really busy. Days can blur together. They become weeks. They become months. And we keep putting things on that someday list, or we keep being put at the end of the list. Well, I'll get to that if I have time. I'll do that if I have time. And we treat some of those things that give us joy, that encourage us, that nourish us as optional, as a luxury, that someday we're going to have that. And what happens over time is that if we keep being put at the bottom of the list, those things that give us joy, those things that nourish us, mind, body, soul, and spirit, we will end up empty and depleted and discouraged. And we'll get to a point where we don't have anything more to give because we're coming from this place of depletion, because we keep being at the bottom of the list. We keep putting the things on, someday I'll get to have that in my life, or I'll get to do that. And so today, I want to shift that around. We have experts that are really going to help you figure out how to put yourself at the top of the list in very practical and profound ways. Because to think about this for a moment, if we actually put ourselves first, we actually build into our everyday life non-negotiable that we get what we need from an energy perspective, from a nourishment perspective, from something that gives us joy that we enjoy doing, we end up having, in a sense, unlimited energy, because we're now filling ourselves up. We're now nourishing ourselves. So we now have this endless energy that we can pour into others because we put ourselves at the top of the list. We made sure that our core needs are taken care of so that we can go out into the world and serve others. I've heard people say this almost like on an airplane, how you put your mask on first, and then you can help others with their masks. If we make sure that we're taking care of ourselves first and very deliberately and building that into our life, then we're in a way that has contagious energy. We can help others and serve others really powerfully. And I want you to be in a position in your life where you're feeling powerful, where you're feeling energized, where you're able to serve and touch others' lives, knowing that you're full to overflowing, that you are taking care of it. That's where you can shift into that place of thriving and being vibrant. When I was a financial advisor, one of the questions I would always ask, and I'm going to ask this of you today, and what I would ask in the financial world is, what's important about money to you? What the question really was is, what's important to you? Because when I would ask that, they would start with the frequent answers. Everyone's answers are a little bit different about what was important about money to them. And it was being able to have freedom, release stress and pressure, being able to do the things that matter to them in life, to be able to take care of the things that weren't important to them. So it got into what was important to them. And one of the frequent answers I would get is that I want to make sure my family's taken care of. It could include schooling needs, housing needs, all different kinds of things. And I would say that's wonderful. I can see how valuable and important that is, how it really serves your family powerfully. But I want to know, what does that do for you? Why is that important to you personally? I see how that's important to them and how that can serve them. But what does it do for you? Why is that important to you? And they would usually pause at this point because we're not used to going there, especially if we were talking about money stuff. But when we dig a little deeper, what I would discover is it would make them feel a certain way. It would make them feel good, useful, positive, that they were making a difference. It made them feel good at some level. And that's what I wanted to tap into. Because any plan I would help them build, and I do this with my clients today, any plan that I help people build, whether it's in business, it's in their personal life, it's around visibility, it's around whatever it is they're looking to achieve, it needs to make them feel more that way. Because that means they're being nourished in the process. That means they're building something that matters to them. And so bringing this around to you, I want you to think about what's important to you and why. How would you recognize that in your life? Does it make you feel a certain way? And once you tap into that, how can we bring that into your life now? Not someday in the future, maybe, hopefully I'll get there. How can we bring some of that into your daily life? So let's take a breath. Beautiful. For those of you who are driving, please stay absolutely safe. Hands on the wheels, eyes open, no texting and driving, very focused. For those of you who are able to, though, I encourage you to put both feet on the floor, put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head, and go ahead and close your eyes, bringing all of you in, mind, heart, body, soul, and spirit. Taking a breath again today, a big belly breath, blowing out your mouth. And in this space, what is important to you? And what do you need today to bring that forward in your life? What's important and matters most to you? And how can we bring that into your life? How can you bring that into your life today? Not tomorrow, not in the future, not someday, today. Take another breath. And receive the answer or answers. It can come sometimes in the form of a picture, a memory, sound, a picture, an emotion. However that information comes to you, I invite you to receive it. Take a breath. Open up your eyes. and go ahead and capture that information. I want you to keep it top of mind so you know exactly what's important to you, and you're on the lookout for ways to bring that into your life. I hope today in our conversations, you'll get some tools to support you in that. But be on the lookout, actively, top of mind, so when that opportunity and information comes, you recognize it and you can say yes and lean in and bring that into your life. Beautiful. One more breath together. Wonderful. Now, Sarah, I was wondering if you had something laid upon your heart during that pause, that moment we took together, that you would like to share with our listeners today.
Yes, I did, actually, and I even drew a little image. And what came up for me was a bridge of vitality. What's most important to me is my vitality, and that is my bridge to the rest of the world, whether it's being in service, family, friends. It's my connection to the world, and how I'm able to engage with that is my vitality. And the second part to that was permission to unplug so I could reboot and renourish myself, refill my own stores so I have that to give to the world.
Beautiful. Thank you. Bridge of vitality and permission. You're absolutely right. We need to remember to unplug and reboot. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Katie, did you have something laid upon your heart to share?
I did. So for me, I really feel like being authentic and vulnerable is the way to be present and connected with everything we're engaged in. And I feel so strongly about having the courage to really be able to step into our authenticity, which also really creates that sense of vulnerability. It really is where our power lies.
Beautiful. I love that. Authentic and vulnerable, and yet that's where our power is and our true place of connection. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
And for me, what was really laid upon my heart is reminding you that you can bring, and reminding me to actively bring into my life those things that nourish me and to build them in to my life on a daily basis. Actually start my day with some of those things in my life before I start running. I love to be in movement and get into everything else that I have on my list. I'm learning to pause and have time for me to unplug, to refresh, to do whatever it is I need to do that day to really feel full, to be ready to pour myself into others, and just building that into my life on a daily basis. So I really encourage you listeners to figure out what it is that will serve you, that will nourish you. We've shared our perspectives and wisdom on that. We are getting ready to go into our first commercial break, and I invite you during this time to keep breathing and listening to what it is that you need, and see maybe something we shared tapped into that or sparked something. Take a moment for you, this next moment in our break, to really listen in, feel in, and see what will serve you. And when we come back, we'll be talking to our exciting first guest expert. So we'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Are you ready for your rush of success? I'm Jim T. Chong, the walk star.
And I'm Cammie Ferry, the theater queen, the host of Rush Hour for Success on Money 105.5 on Thursdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. It's about getting entertained and getting solutions for your success in life and business.
Visit us on Facebook at Money 105.5 FM Rush Hour for Success, or download the Money 105.5 app on your phone for the live stream. That's Thursdays and Fridays, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Get entertained,
get educated, and get your rush on
Rush Hour for Success.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you took advantage of the opportunity to have a minute or two to yourself, to really listen in to what will serve and support you on your journey, really nourishing you and helping you put yourself first so that you're coming and interacting with life from a place of being filled to overflowing. Wonderful. Well, I'm excited to introduce our first guest expert. You got to hear a little bit of her heart in our first segment. Her name is Sarah Riley, and I love Sarah. She and I have had an opportunity to walk beside each other and get to know each other on a deeper level. I know that you're going to appreciate her warmth, her wisdom, and really practical ways that we can work with our bodies to have energy and vitality in our life. She's a functional nutritionist. She spent the last 13 years studying the impact of environmental toxins on weight, energy, immunity, and mood. She's passionate about helping women really thrive, have balance, get the ideal weight that works perfectly for them, have energy, sleep again, and feel great every single day. Please help me warmly welcome the amazing Sarah Riley. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. It is such an honor to be here, Rebecca. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to have you joining us. And I'd love to start our conversation with my favorite question, which is why? Why is this work of really helping people with their body, this functional nutrition, why is that personally so important to you?
Well, it's personally important to me because I came through this work through my own healing journey, and I became viscerally aware down to the core of how much my own vitality and my own health is really the gateway to me being able to live a full life. And I'm able to do that now with my clients and to really help them get to the root cause of what is driving their annoying symptoms of feeling fat, bloated, achy, and tired that are really leaving them and their dreams on the curb, living their dreams halfway.
Something I appreciate about you, Sarah, and I appreciate you sharing why this matters to you. Whenever I hear you say belly fat and bloating and fatigue, I feel hugged by you. Like the way you say those words.
I am hugging you.
It's with love and care. It's not with, I think sometimes if we're struggling with belly fat and bloating and fatigue, we can feel disheartened and discouraged or judged. Mm-hmm. And whenever I hear you say those words, it's like I can help you. I love helping in this area, and I'm here supporting you, like energetically. I feel that from you, and I appreciate that about you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that.
And it makes me smile, which I'm doing right now. So speaking about belly fat and bloating and fatigue, if we're struggling with those things, how does that affect our daily life and our forward momentum? If we're wanting to move forward powerfully in 2016, how could those things be affecting us?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, it slows you down physically and mentally, and you're not as poignantly embodying really your true self. And you're really in survival mode every day, trying to get by, meet the deadlines, get everything done, and finding yourself in catch-up mode and feeling really burnout, tired, and exhausted at the end of the day. And you're really shortchanging yourself and leaving your dreams on the curb.
And I'm just pausing for a moment because I want listeners to think about this for a moment. Like, is there a way that you're feeling that way in your life, stressed and survival mode, and just touch in a little bit, because we can just move along in life so quickly. We're not listening to our bodies. We can become very disconnected. And especially in that survival mode, and just take a moment. And it's not with judgment. It's not with criticism. It's just with awareness. Like, breathing in and just seeing, am I feeling tired or sluggish, or that I'm not having the energy I would like? Am I sleeping as much as I would like? And just kind of check in, because it's important to kind of know where you are in that to see if there's a shift that you're looking for or want in your life. And you've touched on, Sarah, a little bit of the cost if we don't address some of these things, some of the things that we can be missing in our life if we just keep pushing forward and we don't really stop and check in and see if it's something that maybe we need some help in. And particularly these areas you've been talking about, because when I'm out there in the world and I'm talking to women, those are some of the top things I hear them discuss and share. Fatigue is a really big one, and weight gain, and being frustrated about that and uncomfortable in their own skin. And can you share if there's some additional costs that we should be aware of in this as we're doing this check-in?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, as I mentioned, you're leaving your dreams on the curb. And really most importantly here is that these symptoms, they are signs of silent chronic inflammation going on behind the scenes in your body. And there are risks with belly fat, and there are signs, of cardiovascular disease, and inflammation in the gut often shows up as belly bloating. Fatigue is another sign of chronic inflammation, chronic toxicity. So we're really looking at these outward symptoms as really indicators of something very serious going on the inside that over time will become potentially something serious, and the silent chronic inflammation going on behind the scenes that can then evolve into, more extreme disease processes in the future.
Beautiful. And not that it's beautiful that we have these chronic things. I don't mean it that way. I meant more that what you're sharing and adding additional information. When I first met Sarah, around, it was a presentation where she was sharing about belly fat and bloating and fatigue, and she started talking about inflammation. And what I felt as she was sharing these things, and as we discussed her presentation, that it was a different perspective than we had heard out there. A lot of what we had heard out there was about diet and eating less, working out more, and that's how you get your body to feel better and be the way it needs to be. And what I loved about the information you shared, Sarah, about inflammation is that it's a more complex picture than that you can be doing those things, but if you don't get at the root causes of the inflammation, you're still going to have the belly fat and the swelling and the fatigue, that there's something more going on that a lot of people aren't discussing. And I know you're an expert in helping and support people around inflammation and toxicity that may be going on in their life. And if those things aren't addressed, the other things really aren't going to make the shift for you. You need to really address that. And I just didn't know if you had additional comments you wanted to share on that.
Well, it's so true. It's really about addressing what's going on behind the scenes, and it can monumentally shift someone's life. I mean, I see it in my clients every day. The way they show up and the way they evolve through working with me, they evolve into different people. They either don't stay in the same job or they don't stay in the job the same way, right? Because they're stepping into themselves in such a powerful way, peeling back these layers of chronic silent inflammation, and now really stepping into their vitality by getting to the root cause of what's driving that silent chronic inflammation.
Exactly. So as we're talking about this, and we're talking about inflammation, chronic inflammation in particular, belly fat, bloating, fatigue, what are 3 key steps that someone needs to take or they can start taking to address these things and make a shift in their life?
Yes, absolutely. The first key step is to remove inflammatory food triggers, and those are various foods, or the basics to start out with: gluten, dairy, corn, soy, and peanuts. Those are the basics. And then there's deeper elimination that I do with my clients, and we really get to the root cause of what foods are triggering this inflammatory immune response. And secondly is to repair the gut. A lot of America's got a big gut problem out there. There's a lot of guts that need repair from diet, lifestyle, and environment. And so that's a huge, huge piece, repairing the gut. And thirdly is what I call daily detox done right. Toxicity also fuels this silent chronic inflammation. And so really getting to the root cause of what someone's toxicity is, what their ability is to get it out of their body, and also to clean up their environment simultaneously. So those are really three key steps that I love working with clients on, where we see a lot of movement.
Great. Thank you for sharing those 3 steps and the process to really have a powerful shift in your life. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. And they can go from survival mode to thriving, which I believe, and vitality, which I believe many of us would love to have in our daily life. I love the work that you do. And just personally, I've had an opportunity to work with Sarah. And one of the things that she helped me eliminate from my diet, and it was really hard, was dairy. Dairy was really hard for me to give up. But when I did, I didn't hurt as much. I had less achiness. I didn't feel as congested. And I dropped like 8 pounds very quickly and with ease, and just felt better in my skin. So it really makes a difference eliminating some of those things that are aggravating our system. So that was something that now I just don't even crave it. It's not worth the cost to me to have that in my life. And then, Sarah, I know that you have an amazing gift that you've put together for us today for my listeners. Do you mind sharing what that is?
Absolutely. I have what's called an energy breakthrough session. I love talking to people and getting the deeper story of what's going on in their life, where they are with their health, where they want to go. And so what we'll do is we'll uncover hidden triggers in their diet and lifestyle that are really driving a lot of these symptoms of feeling fat, bloated, achy, and tired, and really gain clarity about what's keeping them stuck so they can walk away with a specific plan to eliminate those annoying symptoms.
Wonderful. And let me tell you, an opportunity to spend some time with Sarah is wonderful, supportive. It'll give you great clarity. I really encourage you to take her up on that generous offer. Whenever you can get time with an expert like that, it's a great opportunity to lean in and get support. So I encourage all of you to lean in. However, you have to stay until the end of the show for me to tell you how to lean in and say yes to Sarah's generous gift. And also, I'm going to have Sarah make a special announcement towards the end of the show as well. So make sure you stay tuned as all of these wonderful things unfold throughout our time together. We're going to our next commercial break, so I want to give you an opportunity to really digest the information Sarah shared with us. And then also take a moment to listen to our sponsors. I really want you to know the organizations and people that believe in you, that believe empowering women, transforming lives is important, because they believe the work that we do and you matter. I encourage you to lean in and get to know them. Look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Age with Attitude TV is for the woman who does not see her future as a nice little old lady, but rather she sees herself living a bold, juicy, kick-ass second half. Now, if this is the life you want for your second 50, then Age with Attitude TV is for you. You'll find stories to inspire you, plus money and metabolism tips that really work. Check it all out at agewithattitude.tv, presented by Jan Rose Distel. Find us on voiceamerica.tv, and remember, it's never too late to create a life you love.
Are you ready for your rush of success? I'm Jim T. Chong, the walk star.
And I'm Cami Ferry, the theater queen, the host of Rush Hour for Success on Money 105.5 on Thursdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. It's about getting entertained and getting solutions for your success in life and business.
Visit us on Facebook at Money 105.5 FM Rush Hour for Success, or download the Money 105.5 app on your phone for the live stream. That's Thursdays and Fridays, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Get entertained,
get educated, and get your rush on
Rush Hour for Success.
Tune in for Suzanne Ross and Lighten Up TV, evolutionary wellness for the body, mind, and spirit. Each episode features Suzanne and her amazing guests, including inspirational authors, speakers, wellness experts, and spiritual guides. This series is focused on achieving total well-being so that you can live well and love life. Visit lightenuptv.net to find out more. Lighten Up TV is presented by the Awakening Center, a nonprofit for those seeking a higher way of living and being. Don't miss out on living your best life now. Go to lightenuptv.net today.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed that break. You got a little chance to process all of the valuable information that Sarah shared with us about our bodies and things to be aware of and those steps that we can take, as well as you got a chance to listen to some of our sponsors. Well, you'll also find during those commercial breaks, so here's a juicy tip for you. We announce things that are coming up. So we share about during those commercial breaks, different programs that are going to be coming forward. We'll share about opportunities to expand your message and reach more people, as well as resources you can lean into. So just a tip as you're listening to the show to make sure you do take a moment to tune in and listen to those breaks as well. You'll find great information. Well, I'm excited to introduce our next guest expert to you. You are going to love her energy, her enthusiasm, her power, and how she's really making the world a brighter, more glowing place. Her name is Katie Max, and she is a leadership trainer, certified relationship coach, and has spent 25 years helping others regain the freedom of choice in their life to get their glow back. And she powerfully focuses on the relationship you have with you so that we can support you to glow and shine out in the world. Please help me warmly welcome the amazing Katie Max to the show. Yay! Welcome.
Yay! Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Well, I'm excited to have you here. And listeners, I met Katie, has it been a year now? I'm trying to think of how long we've known
I think
each
it's been a year.
Yeah, about a year. And she was doing a presentation, just had this vitality and energy about her and passion to really help people get their glow back. And I'm going to let her share what glow is. But before we get into that, I want to ask you, Katie, why is this work of empowering people in this way, helping them get their glow back, having that freedom of choice, why is that personally so important to you?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. I really lost my glow about 12, 15 years ago, and I lost sight of all the options and choices that I had in my life. It was probably one of the most humbling times ever. I was in a profession that I couldn't stand. I made more money than I ever did, and I thought I was just supposed to be happy with what was going on. And I just was moving further and further away from feeding myself. And like you said in the beginning of the show, really putting myself first and figuring out how I could engage with the world with like love and excitement and adventure. And so I really lost sight and was finally willing to, as I say, free fall. I made a career change back to what I love. And I just want people to know that they have choices and options and they can live from their hearts. And I feel like our society tells us we have to, do things in a certain way to get to a certain place. And in that belief, we lose sight of what's really important to us.
Yes.
I certainly did.
I love that we can really live from our heart. And I appreciate you sharing that you were at a place where you lost that glow and that enthusiasm and excitement, but then you were able to bring it back into your life. And that's a lot of what you help people do. So I appreciate you sharing some of your journey with us today.
My pleasure.
And just what you brought up in my heart and spirit as you were sharing is I just identified there was a period in my life where I had lost my glow and really I was living other people's definitions of success. I just didn't know I could have my own. And I didn't know that I could put myself first. I didn't know that I could really serve from my heart and powerfully impact the world in that way. And just having people in my life open up those possibilities and support me into that made all the difference in my world and in my life. And I wouldn't be the radio show host I am today, being able to talk with you, Katie and Sarah, and all of you listeners without going on that journey and really being supported in it. So your work is really valuable that you're bringing to the world, Katie.
Thank you.
So what is glow? We've been talking about that. I had it in my introduction. I want to make sure we're on the same page and we know what you mean when you say glow.
Okay, well, GLOW is actually an acronym, and it stands for growing, loving, opening, and willing. And like you just said, Rebecca, life really is a journey. And so on the journey, we can just get stuck. And when we're stuck, we are not in a place where we're growing and necessarily loving or being open and willing to possibilities. And so GLOW is really about those four elements. And it's not just always about being, excited and thrilled and happy. GLOW is really a commitment to our growth and making a difference in people's lives and starting with our own.
Beautiful. And again, listeners, I took notes as she was sharing that because I love acronyms, but I want to make sure you get them right because that's important to me. Growing, loving, is it opening and willing? Did I get that correct? Okay.
Yep.
So that's GLOW that we're talking about. And I appreciate that you're talking both about that energy and that positive exuding way that we can be, but there's also that growth in a really grounded place as well that you bring into the work that you do around GLOW.
When you say that, it's really, when we're open and willing, so much of that is about living in the unknown, so to speak, and that's where the courage comes in. That's why it doesn't always feel great. But it's really stepping into a place of, I'm not really sure, but I'm willing to learn and grow and love and be in that place, right? And so It's not always just a woo-woo experience, so to speak, but it's really a humbling and wonderful place to be in a place of not knowing, because that's really where we can learn.
Well, and what a wonderful place to be able to be in, that, like, that just releases a lot of pressure. We don't have to know it all.
Exactly.
We get to learn and grow, and that process is honored and good.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You know, society tells us, you know, we should know, like, we're at a certain age and we should be here or we should be there. And it's like, whose dream are we really living, right? That's why it's so important to come back to ourselves and, like you said, putting the oxygen mask on ourselves first.
Exactly. Now, speaking about this glow, is this something we are born with, or is it something we grow into and develop over time? How does that work?
Well, I believe we are all born into glow, right? We are all born these unique, amazing, glowing beings. And then as we grow up, when we're young, events and circumstances begin to occur that we don't understand. And so we interpret what they mean, and we end up developing beliefs out of those events and circumstances about who we think we are and who we think we aren't. And we develop behaviors throughout our life that are really attached to what we made up when we were young. And in that process, I really believe we let go of a sense of glow. You know, we end up making up that we are a certain way, when in fact we were really born with these amazing qualities. So the journey that I'm on and that I support people on is really getting back to, who are you authentically, right? If we're going to take off the image that we've put on as protection, you know, what's really important to you? What do you value? You know, what legacy are you desiring to leave? You know, how do you want to live your life? And those are very glowing questions.
Exactly. And so as we're looking at getting back to our true selves, our authentic selves, and really stepping powerfully into our glow, what are 3 tips that can support us in getting our glow back and moving forward with momentum in our life?
Okay, I'm so glad you asked that. So much of glow is created in our thoughts. Okay, so one of the keys that I want to offer everybody is to focus on what you want. We are very adept at focusing on what we don't want, but to really focus on what it is that you want, because where energy goes, energy flows, or another way to say it is where energy glows, energy flows. So that's really important, to focus on what it is you want. The other step is really connecting with both your inner nature and outer nature. So I cannot say enough about getting out and moving your body and being out in nature, because it just really feeds the soul. There's also feeding the inner nature, which is really creating ritual, doing things that really feed your spirit. I'll share one thing that I'm doing that I think is so remarkable and has really transformed my life. Is I get up every morning at 5 a.m. and I do things to take care of myself. I meditate, I do affirmations, I do visualizations, I read, I move my body, and I write. And I do that before I start my day, because prior to doing that, I never had time. Like, you know, time had me rather than me having time. So that's been an amazing ritual that has just been very glowing. And lastly, it's really spend time with glowful people that uplift your life. You know, we can spend time with, oh, you shouldn't do that. I know when I was changing my career, people were like, are you kidding? You're 50. Are you like, how could you do this? You know, you're Katie, so dangerous.
Katie, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but we do have to go to our commercial break. So when we get back, we'll have a little bit of a cliffhanger here. When we get back, we'll expand a little bit on glowful people so we don't leave anyone hanging. But remember to breathe in, take a moment for yourselves, listeners, as we go into this commercial break, and we'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Are you ready for your rush of success? I'm Jim T. Chong, the walk star.
And I'm Cami Ferry, the theater queen, the host of Rush Hour for Success on Money 105.5 on Thursdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. It's about getting entertained and getting solutions for your success in life and business.
Visit us on Facebook at Money 105.5 FM Rush Hour for Success, or download the Money 105.5 app on your phone for the live stream. That's Thursdays and Fridays, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Get entertained,
get educated, and get your rush on
Rush Hour for Success.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. And as promised, Katie's going to share just a little bit more about being around glowful people. I just love that phrase, and I'd love for you to have an opportunity to share a little bit about that.
Okay, so I'm going to be very succinct. It's really being around loving people that support you in what is important to you, rather than being a glow buster and saying nay to what really matters to you in your life.
I just saw a book title or a chapter title in my head. Glow busters versus glow builders or glowful people. I love that. Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
I know you've put together an amazing gift. I wanted to give you an opportunity to share about that with our listeners today.
Okay, thank you. So I have an ebook that I encourage people to get. I think it's wonderful, and it's from a book called Authentic Alignment, or I'm a co-author, and the name of my chapter, surprise, surprise, is Get Your Glow On. And it's really a journey on the way to glow, how to get your glow on, giving you tips and more information so that you can really live the glowful life you desire.
Wonderful. Thank you for making that available. And listeners, in case you didn't capture all the thoughts and wisdom that Katie shared with us today, you can get that and more in her ebook. So you can highlight it, read through it, peruse it at your time and leisure to really get it into you on a cellular level. So I encourage you to lean in and say yes to this powerful gift. Thank you for making it available, Katie.
Oh, you're so welcome.
And now, listeners, I promised at the very beginning of the show that I would let you know how to access these gifts. So I'm going to honor that. I'm not going to leave you hanging wondering. Here's what you do. You go to Radio Gifts, and it's plural, gifts, because there's multiple, .net. Again, that's radiogifts.net. And a window will open up that you put your name and email address in so we can stay in touch with you. And then you will see this amazing world of free gifts to support you and empower you on your journey. Simply scroll down to today's date, which is February 9th, and you will see Sarah and Katie's beautiful pictures as well as their gifts. I encourage you to lean in and say yes to those that really will serve and support you on your journey. My listeners, we want to really support you and having things that you can actually move forward in. We want to give you great information and content in our show, but we also want to give you tools and resources to bring transformation and empowerment into your daily life that you can really hold on to. And that's why my guests, who are listeners as well, but my guests provide you with gifts, because we want to really help you get traction in your life. We really want you to live an empowered and transformational life. So I encourage you to lean in and say yes to those gifts that will serve and support you. But I also wanted you to know the heart and the heartbeat behind them and why we create those and make them available to you. Now, there are two other things that I promised I would share with you today. One of them is an special announcement that Sarah has to make, or gets to make. We're excited to have her make and celebrate. And then also I asked if she had a quick tip or additional thought that she wanted to share with you today. And she said yes. So Sarah, I hand the floor over to you.
Oh, thank you, Rebecca. Which would you like first?
You can choose.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. First of all, I feel called to give my quick tip, something I just want the listeners to have, and I do this with my clients, and it's actually been remarkably profound. Is at the beginning of the day and before you fall asleep, just ask yourself. I call this the daily PB&J, and it does not stand for peanut butter and jelly, but
no peanuts.
It is. And so it is basically a simple inquiry of how can I experience true peace, balance, and joy today. And then letting the question go and just seeing what shows up for you and letting your subconscious be the guide and letting go and surrendering to that.
Beautiful. So that's in the beginning and the end of the day. I love that. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Your bookend. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So now, what is this exciting announcement?
Thank you, Rebecca. On March 24th at 11 a.m., I will be launching my radio show on Voice America called Get Nourished with Sarah Riley.
Ta-da! So great time of day, by the way. Now, what day of the week will this be, and what station? Or show, I should say, what channel?
Yes, this is going to be health and wellness, and it's going to be on Thursdays at 11 a.m.
Wonderful. March 24th. Well, I celebrate you joining the Voice America team as one of our hosts and really bringing your nourishment and powerful information to support the world. I just celebrate that and lean into you and everyone who's listening today. I encourage you to check out her show on the Health and Wellness channel premiering March 24th on Thursdays at 11 a.m. So welcome to the family, and we're leaning in and celebrating with you.
Thank you, Rebecca. It's been an honor to be here. Thank you.
Exactly. Absolutely. Okay, Katie, I'm feeling a pull. Do you have a tip or a suggestion or something on your heart in about 30 seconds that you could share with us? I just wanted to give you a chance. I felt a little pull and nudge.
Okay. Yeah, I just encourage people to look at what you want, really look at what you want to create right now, and have the courage to take one step towards that this week. Just one step. Courage is so huge. It's all about taking action and having the courage to do that.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I do believe it is a courageous act. You've said that a couple of times, really taking that step, asking the question, Sarah, that you shared, really those bookends at the beginning and the end of the day. It's a courageous act to build new patterns in our life, to take different steps than we've taken before. And that's how we can really go where we haven't been before. And it's a step at a time, a question at a time, a breath at a time, a choice at a time. Mm-hmm. So listeners, I want to thank all of you for joining us today and remind you that it's not an accident that you were drawn to this show, that you're listening to the end, that there is something here that was designed and built and called forth to serve you. And I encourage you to lean into that, whatever it may be that can bring you forward, because you are absolutely needed. There's no one else just like you. And I want to make sure that you're here for the long term that you are loving your body, you're loving you, you're loving your life, that you're really glowing and shining out there. But that means making sure that you're putting yourself first, that you're starting the day nourishing and feeding into you. And that's a choice only you can make. And I hope that you choose to do so, because you matter. And I want you fully living your life. I want you to fully be part of our community and our lives, to richly share all your gifts and your talents and abilities with all of those that are privileged to be in your life. Because it matters. We make a difference day by day, heart by heart, breath by breath, choice by choice, on how we decide to live our life, how we decide to show up in our life. And my heart's desire is wherever you go, whatever you do, may you always, always bloom where you're planted and shine. I look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Women's Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.